In return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Look, straight from the mud like Ruby. Straight to the stage, they love me. I understand they hungry, but please don't hate, that's ugly. I've been sliding, shaking, moving. I've been popping in my city. Shawty say she love the way we do it with me. I be too turned up to ever give a I ain't come to argue, let a please, baby. They been talking pennies, I need bigger bucks. About to catch a flight, I need to switch it up.
Are we ready? Here we go, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up? It's really loud on my headphones, if we could adjust that. This is an exciting time, Will. You're in the hot seat. Everybody give it up for Will for being in the hot seat today. Let me explain to everybody what the hot seat is. The hot seat is when you're going to tell it all, shirtless. And you really get moving in a direction. You get hot, so the shirt has to come off. It gets really crazy. You tell all your whole story. We got a lot to talk about today. This is going to be a cool show. So the topic is who you want to be, talking about standards, things like that. TJ is going to give a sick recovery racing update, which I'm excited for. Let's give it up for TJ. He is the manager of Sick Recovery Racing. But I have some other announcements first, Bobby. I got to announce that we are now presently, you are all in the living room. Give it up. In the living room, Jeff. You're in here. We out here. And so what is the living room? Like, we are in the Berkshire Mall. I can see right there to our entrance from the mall. People are peeking in through the gate like, what is going on in there? But we are at the Berkshire Mall. What is this place? Put that. Who's got a mic back there? Joe, you got a mic. What is the point of the living room? Our space here is called the living room. This is the living room podcast.
Not your typical living room, though.
No. Well, what's it about here? What are we about here in the living room, buddy?
So we're about using this space to really reach out to more of the community outside of our community. You know, we're looking for people coming into the mall to see us and catch their interest into, you know, what's going on. And then we could outreach. We could talk about, you know, testimonies and, you know, what's working in our life and what brought us to our knees, really. We
are here to offer hope. That is the biggest thing. We are here to offer hope to the lost, the broken, those that just may need a little bit of uplifting and maybe a little light in darkness. I want to tell you right now, Barney, John Powell. Everybody give it up for John Powell as the guest again today. As usual, he's always dedicated to being a Sick Recovery, the biggest Sick Recovery alumni, way ahead of Griff Cotter. He's way cooler than Griff Cotter. And his homie, Josh Barnhart, is watching today. Everybody say, what's up, Barney? What's up, Barney?
What up? What up, what up?
So, the living room. The whole point behind us getting this space, renovating this awesome space, is to reach the lost, the broken, those that need some hope. The other thing we're doing up front, we have a little cafe that Jeff and Elliot are really, really working hard to get going. We have a full kitchen back there. Passed our inspection for the kitchen, y'all, right? So we have our licensing for a kitchen to serve food in the cafe. We are going to open our doors next Friday. Jeff's going to have a full spread of food up there. You don't know that yet, but there's going to be a whole mess of food up front. There's
Jeff, you're going to serve 500
raw
people.
Chicken and frozen chicken from the walk-ins. He's just going to throw a bunch out there in pans. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to open the doors here to reach to reach the lost, and I'm excited about this. We also have this community space in the middle, right? This is where we the guys are using it for a gym. We have a lot of gym equipment in there for Jesse to pretend like he's going to get ready, and Jesse actually sweat today. I did see that. Did you notice that, TJ? He was a little sweaty. Joe forced it on him, but he really worked out hard. So we have a lot of gym stuff here for the guys in the program. It's not an open gym here. We have a dodgeball zone. We have ping pong that Phil plays right at 3:31 the second he gets here. I don't know if anybody notices that but me, but he walks directly into the ping pong table.
He's getting better.
We Joe with a mic is going to be awesome. Joe's going to just become the co-host. The other thing we have out there is we have this little basketball game that where is Devin Marshall? Marshall, do you want to talk about your success in the basketball game?
He's just a cheater.
He has finally found his calling. Carnival basketball is what Marshall was meant to do. You can tell he has some Carney in him.
I love it.
He has some Lehigh and Carney in him, but I think he's doing well. I think he's doing well with the basketball game.
I'm willing to take on a challenge from anyone that thinks they can beat me. I'll smoke you.
Jeff, do you hear that?
I got Jeff beat multiple times.
He's actually pretty good. So, yeah, we have a lot of games in here. We have a lot of fun in here. That's what it's for. And the guys come here every night after work to eat together, to be a community together. This is where we have our meetings. This is where we have our groups. This is where we get down and dirty and dig into the issues. And this is usually where everybody hates me most, right, Bobby? You hate me every day here. Yeah. Everybody, how about a really big, do we want to do a standing ovation and give it up for Bobby and thank him for coming on board here? He's part of the team here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Bob. Bobby is the producer of this show.
Bobby.
Bobby produces this show. He's on board with us full time to do more videos, reach more people. And that leads me into we are having our first living room not church service. Now everybody's like, what do you mean not church? Yeah, Bo's saying the other words. We thought about calling it something else church, but we don't want to offend too many people. I offend enough people. So what we're here for is to reach those that have had maybe a bad experience in a church because, kind of being legalistic and rulesy and or any reason to leave a church because that happens a lot, the environment. We want to be a place where people can come and feel safe no matter what they're dealing with, kind of, just represent Jesus as well as we can on that aspect. But we want to be a place that, like anybody that's scared of judgment, has never had experience in church, can come to our not church service. Let me know the feedback on that, what you all think about having a not church service. Some might offend, some might not. And
So,
if you're offended, I don't care.
So,
Go ahead, Joe.
just a general
This is gonna
statement
be
because
great
I don't
with
want to
Joe, I can
speak
tell
for
you.
anybody else.
Yes,
but
you do. You speak for everybody all the time.
Yeah,
You're like the Lorax.
You're
You
right.
speak for the trees. He
Well-
doesn't he remind you of the Lorax, in fact? Like he looks a little bit like that.
I went to go see that, but I don't remember it so much because I was in a bad headspace.
Okay, well, let's not
But-
go back there.
But no, quick, I don't want to forget this.
Okay, go ahead.
It's really cool you just
Jeff!
said what you said because I was having a conversation with one of our guys. I think it
Mhm.
was just yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking a little bit about faith and God,
Mhm.
and there was just a difference in belief on one angle of it.
Yeah.
And what you just said, like some people, have different perceptions of what we're talking about.
Right.
And I just agree with like, hey man, your belief is just fine.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be loved no matter what your belief is. So, and we're going to get into that more in our very first, not the living room, not church service is next Saturday, 10 a.m. here at the Berkshire Mall, Space 700. We have our own private entrance. You can come in that way. You come in through the mall, but it's not just about sitting here for a not church service. It's about connecting. There's going to be some music. It's not going to be like crazy worshipy type music. You're going to hear like Tupac, okay? You're going to hear music that connects with people today, and it's going to have there's going to be a meaning to the song, but I'm not going to put Bobby on a piano up there singing the typical worship music just yet. We want to reach some people, and we want everybody to feel that they can connect no matter where they are in their spiritual journey and allow people the space to do that. And that space is the living room. You know, the word, you know, Caleb, who just, I want you to know, Joe, he just posted on here and he said, bro, I will trash Joe at some ping pong.
No, you won't.
The other short guy from Kufka Church, he challenged you to a ping pong match of midgets.
Caleb, we're in space 700, Berkshire Mall.
You know where he is,
Let's
bro.
go.
So, yeah.
I love it. I accept.
Caleb came up with the name here, the living room, and you know Caleb's. Can we give it up for Caleb too?
Yep.
Okay, but he came up with the name, and the living room is just so perfect. It's because you know a lot of us were dead, you know, and through working together in this community and being a brotherhood, it seems like they're living again, and a lot of us, I know, feel that way, and a lot of us are headed that way. So that's why this is a living room. But we want to open that up and show how we do it and show how God is leading us to everybody in next Saturday, February 6th, JP, not church service. So don't feel scared like I did. I felt afraid to go into church the first time. I swore that big LCBC building was going to fall the second I walked in it. Because I thought I was so important that God was just paying attention to me and like, hey, he's a really bad guy, and let me put all my effort into him. But that's a whole other sermon. So, yeah, come on. Not only will you get a video message. Next week's video message is about a lot of cool things. I can't tell you who or what. A little bit of mental health going on in it, and it's going to be awesome. And following that, right, so 10 a.m. is the message. Following that is a free luncheon. If you get here before Phil gets it, you'll get a lot of food. But Phil tried to butt in line for a meal. It's crazy. He's always up there very, very first, but we're going to work on that next weekend with his portion control. And anybody that's at the mall or anybody that's around here that just feels like coming by for a free meal. Jeff, Will, do we know what we're cooking next week for this? Elliot, do you know what you're cooking next week or what? Not yet. Did we figure that out yet? You don't know. Oh, it's either going to be
spaghetti.
Probably tacos, Jeff. Tacos or spaghetti, but we're leaning towards tacos because we rock. Jeff and Elliot and Will can rock some tacos, and we did. When did we do that? Last 2 Saturdays ago for Supercross. By the way, Supercross is on tonight. I'd love to hear your picks for Supercross. Leave them in the comment area. Let's see some. Wow, standing O for Bobby, but just a clap for me. I see how it is. That's what Caleb said. Joe, do you want to give him a standing ovation or what do you?
Bobby?
For Caleb.
Caleb?
For Caleb?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. Give him
Get
one.
some.
Give him one. And yeah, so that's the exciting part of the living room, that message. But there's another thing that happens next Saturday, February 6th as well, and that is our very first family day. So that families that have approval, that's a key word, approval, to come visit on visitation with their dude here, comes here at 10 a.m. for the service. We go through some kind of orientation then about the family program of what we're going to do. We eat lunch together. Then we podcast here at 12:30 with the families here, which I think is going to be super, super cool. Maybe I can get some families to get involved in the podcast to talk about it from a family level. I think that's kind of neat. What do y'all think? What do you think, Phil? You like that? Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Those families that have been here, that these guys have been here the amount of time to be able to do that and doing what they need to do for visitation. We are ready for that next Saturday. If you haven't discussed that with me yet, don't discuss it with Jeff. So that's and I'm just kidding. You can call me or Jeff, and we'll discuss that. So we talked about the big family weekend. We talked about the living room, and we've talked about what we're doing with the space, the cafe up front. We're gonna have our farm eggs here, right, Elliot? We're gonna have eggs for sale here. Hopefully, we get to making some food and making some farm fresh food up there, and that means that we will kind of have to work it off, and you can come in here and play dodgeball against us, right? And Bo is going to challenge everybody to a dodgeball competition. So, yeah, I'm ready to go. So, I'm going to get into character now. All right, so we better get the mics spread out here and ready to go, because now we're going to jump in to the just the topic part of the show today. the topic for today is going to be kind of different from before because I kind of just ran with this one. I was going to do a different topic, but after today's teaching, we do a class here on mindset and kind of like something that just plans on being more goal-driven and more goal-oriented as a person. So we do a mindset class on Saturdays. Got away from it because of COVID, and we kind of got on lockdown. We were locked down for weeks in separate houses and quarantining, and a few of the guys got it and are doing great. But we do this mindset class, and today's was really powerful, really cool. I think the guys did an awesome job, and I'd like to hear from some of you to give a little feedback. Joe, do you have something to say?
I do. I keep trying to interrupt you.
You can't do that,
Well,
bro.
today's topic was good because it was total reality.
He's like, what?
Can you hear me now?
Like, dude, go ahead. It was total reality,
It was
Joe?
reality. It was reality of where we are. and
Okay.
It was reality of where we are and what we're doing.
Did you say it was a reality of where we are? What are we doing? What are you doing back there? Never know what you're doing in there. But yeah, so like the class today was about I drew a bell-shaped curve, and I hope everybody knows what a bell-shaped curve is. If you don't, Bobby, I wish I had a way to draw while we were doing this. You got to figure that out.
Like in NFL,
yeah, they do the whole thing and they clip to the scene, and we got to up our game. But bell-shaped curve, and in it there was 3 quadrants: loser, winner on the other end, and in the middle is at leaster. And it's fact that 20% of our society are considered losers. Okay, that might be harsh, and if you take that as offense, well, good. Maybe you should look into it and move out of there. The middle is at leaster, and that makes up 60% of our society. And those are like the workabees, the people that are like get into a comfort zone, and then you have winners that have that are just striving for success, leaders, people that are going after the grind of success in whatever way that is. It doesn't mean monetarily, and none of this understand. Okay, I had to explain this in class this morning. None of this means that you're a bad person. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, should I? Because some of the things that go along with loser, like Joe, give me some examples of the word loser in your mind in our world. Like we all placed ourselves. I want everybody to understand. Part of the exercise this morning was for all these guys to land themselves up on the board with a mark on where they fall in the loser, at leaster, and winner category. Okay, with where they are, but we all recognize that every single one of us, before we entered a program of change and really grasp change, we're losers, right? So, what are some of the words that you guys? Anybody can feel free to grab a mic that are associated with the loser category. Go ahead.
Manipulative.
Anybody else over there? Jeff, don't be scared to grab a hold of that mic next to you.
Selfish,
Gary said. Go ahead, Jeff.
Liar,
cheater. Okay, good. Disrespectful, right? Those are the words everybody came up with. There was a mess of words, right? Any other ones that we didn't think of? Like any new ones? Okay, but along those lines, and the at leaster part of us is where that comfort zone. We don't like to be pushed. Like we do just enough to get by. Does that make sense? Any words I'm missing, Jeff, from the at leaster, like to get so that the people can get the vibe of what we're doing? What's that? Mediocrity. Yeah, that's really in that at leaster area, and so again, like this isn't a judgment about like God doesn't love anybody any less for being a certain type of person in this discussion. That's for sure. And the people that are in the category of where they feel they're winners are not better than anybody from a standpoint of love and like grace. You know what I mean? This is just reality and truth of us as a group here of who we are. So for us, it's kind of like this different thing when we're in a program. When you're in a program, you've experienced loser to a really a large extent. You know, most of us raised our hand with that we were practicing the loser behaviors for at least 5 years, right? Some 10 like me, some 15 like me, some 20, some 30, you know? Like Jeff talks about all the time, like he spent 33 years in those behaviors and we practice and we get comfortable with those loser behaviors. And it's really hard to develop a standard and a belief outside of that. That's really what it comes down to. And it takes all this practice to get so far beyond it, and it's easy to show you on the curve is when you start climbing that curve in the at-leaster and getting out of that loser behavior. But for me, for the guarantee is to get everybody past that point where they can even go back to loser. And I think that's what happens where we have so many struggles in our country with addiction. Like the addiction treatment field, the treatment center world is packed, is loaded. The insurance, you know, that whole game. Like everybody here, I don't know if everybody, most of us here have been to treatment numerous times, some 10, 12, 15, 18, 20 times. And it's kind of like the same gig. Anybody that's been to treatment want to spend 30 seconds talking about like what that is and what you focus on? And Will's in the hot seat. He's gonna grab it. Like, go ahead, Will. You scared or?
Is this close enough?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
So I went to rehab twice, and both times it was really just kind of drying out and smoking cigarettes and sitting in groups where nobody really cared and like got deep or put any effort in, or just it was really just a lot of bullshit and just hanging out talking about how high you got, how much drugs you had, and like I saw a lot of people just making plans to like go back to that when they leave. Really,
yeah,
a lot of talking about leaving,
and it's a quick in and out. Like it's a quick 30, 60, 90, 6-month deal, sometimes a year. But and that's where we involve this mindset class and a lot of what we do, because you know we're in real life here. If anybody doesn't understand what Soul Constructors is, we're a real life program that you are here. You work your own way through the program. Nobody pays for you. There's no cost to enter the program. You work your butt off to be in this program and to work towards being a winner. And that's like, are you all right, Will? Is everything okay? That's like a big piece of this is the accountability piece and the perseverance to win. I feel like in a lot of other programs, you don't get over that hump because they stay in this area of relapse and comfortable and triggers and kind of a focus on substance world. And we don't do any of that. You know, we don't focus on any of the old things we did. And in fact, we're really trying our best to get so far away from it that you never can see it. That was the biggest thing one of the biggest things we talked about this morning is, you know, our goal is to completely focus on something so much that is bigger than us and will help us be goal-oriented that we can't find our way back to loser. And that's really the goal. You know, we did this illustration about getting lost in the woods, and, you know, when I was a kid, we went tracking animals and stuff, and all of a sudden we're running and we're having a good time. We're crossing creeks, crossing fields and hundreds of acres, you know, camping with 5 other kids at 11 years old. And we were so focused on the goal that in a couple, like 3-4 hours, we were lost and we didn't know how to get back. And that's actually what we're trying to create here, that you stay so focused on your goal that you can't get back to your default setting. And that's a big thing. Our default standard is so ingrained in us. Everybody, like the default for us is so deep rooted and practiced so hard that until you get on the other side of being an at-leaster, it's always just really slippery slope to get back there. It's an easy spot to quickly fall back into the default setting of being a loser. Why? Because we know how to do it. And anything that's comfortable for us is easy. All of us knew how to be a loser to the highest level. I was the biggest loser that I knew, okay? And it was this thing where I could look towards a different future. I could look towards going down another path. But if I took too many steps, I always wanted to keep that certainty of being a loser right there. Like, I wanted to be able to keep my hand on the fact that I don't know what's forward. I don't know what's going to happen if I try to be a winner, but I know it's really easy to be a scumbag. It's really easy to be a loser. I can manipulate and hurt people and destroy relationships and walk out on my family, and I can be a loser really, really easy. And that's not just in here. That's our society. Like, being a loser is easy. Like, our government has made it easy to be a loser, with what they give, and they want to give everything away. And it, that's a whole other podcast. But giving to people doesn't do anything for them. It actually keeps them lost, and they never get to broken. So our goal here is to help these guys, first of all, figure out where they are, right? Where and place yourself, okay, here's where I am. And everybody pretty much placed themselves, after thinking about it a little bit, in the at leaster area. And we figure out what it's going to take to get you to climb that wall of being a winner, because that's what life's about. Is in that winner category, Joe, Jeff, Will, like there were things like truth, like dedicated to truth, right? Being loving, caring, being a leader, never giving up, never quitting. That one alone in the addiction field is a topic that every treatment center and every area of addiction recovery should talk about. We are ready to quit at the drop of a hat. We are if until you get beyond this point, and that's what I'm talking about. So if you put your arms out and winner is at this end and loser at this one, and you can still touch that loser behavior, we can quit and jump right back there. And I think you said it, Marshall, this morning, like I could get myself back to loser in a millisecond, no matter how far. Like, I may have taken a couple steps and did a little work, even in jail or in a program. But man, as long as I kept loser in my eyesight and at an arm's reach, like, it was really, really easy to get back there. And it was like, it was our go-to. Like, it's comfortable. Like that. When I say default setting, think about that. Like, when the default is loser and scumbag and liar and cheater and manipulator and addict and all those things that we call ourselves, that becomes the comfy chair we live in. And when you do it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, like, it's serious work to get out of there. Go ahead, Marshall.
It's when I did that every time, it wasn't even like I had to think about it. It was like just like knowing how to walk. Like, I literally got out of jail and was like, I have to go here, I have to go here, I have to get this, and I know I'm going to have this or be at that position already. Mm-hmm. And then, like, at that time, I thought that's all I would need, whether it was, a substance or whatever. Like, I was like it wasn't even I didn't have to think about a plan or nothing. I just knew exactly what to do without even a thought.
That's it.
It was weird. Yep.
And we just developed this standard that we refuse to raise. And people that listen in here, why do you refuse to raise your standard? That's all because you're limiting beliefs. Like, you set a bar for yourself that doesn't allow you to get outside your comfort zone. Usually, most of the time, for me and for what I've seen doing this, I've seen fear stand in the way of raising that bar, not knowing if you can do it, not knowing where you're going, where this is going to head you. And the unknown is what allows us to grasp a hold of familiarity. And unfortunately for us, being with what we did, wrong is familiar. Wrong is comfortable. Like, all those things we did to hurt people, that becomes familiar and comfortable, and it's easy to be a loser. So I always tell everybody, like, if you're offended by me like saying that word loser, well, good. Well, maybe you need to look within and get off of that word and move into where you get to that worker person and that dedicated person. And we talked about that. Like, the worker bee person is 60% of our society. Those are the people that get up every day at the same time. They go to work at the same time. They pack the same lunch. They go home and they eat dinner, and they some drink their 6 beers and they're functional, and they go to bed, and they do that every day of their life, and they don't get outside of their comfort zone. They don't want to be pushed. They just want to do what they want to do, and they want to live their life and be good. you know, and there's that doesn't make anybody bad, good. Bo, are you all right? You look like you're about to fall asleep over there. You with us? He looks. Does he have COVID again? He is really getting. Those aren't bad people. Like, those are great people, the working class people. My point of this is that with us, okay, with us being who we are, and loser being so easy to jump back to, and the families at home, I know they're going to get this. Like, it was always easy watching your loved one come out of treatment, come out of a program, and then all of a sudden, it's like they're doing great, boom, back to it. They're doing great, hang out with the wrong person, boom, go around the wrong things, boom, right back. That was my life. You know, I would manipulate to get my way, and nobody was seeing or addressing the behaviors that go along with being a loser. So that's why I'm so hardcore with calling a spade and calling a loser, because you got to come off that stuff, especially when you have addiction issues and substance abuse issues, to get to a point where you never want to look back there. You never want to look to easy again. And the antidote for not wanting easy is to deal with hard shit, is to deal with difficult issues, is to go through tough times. And Joe, what'd you always do with tough times? What'd you always do with stress? Jeff, what'd you do with stress? Will, what'd you do? What'd you guys do? TJ, what did you do with anything that was a little bit difficult?
I mean, ran away from the truth. You know, typically it was get drunk or get high, or you know, run away from the people who tell me the truth.
That's it.
You know,
that's it. We surrounded ourselves with people that would not tell us the truth, and you know, unfortunately for our families, you know, they run out of energy to deal with us. They run out of the know-how to help us. And it actually becomes this counterproductive relationship where the relationship is so toxic because they're scared of losing us, right? They're scared of us walking out because we're not getting our way. They're scared of us with our threats of, I'm going to go get high if you don't do what I want. They're scared of us. A lot of us, you know, you pulled the suicide card or of I'm going to kill myself if I don't get what I want. You know, they live in fear, so they don't push the envelope to where it needs to be to get out of loser.
well, it would be like, you can't come home if you're this way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't come home drunk or high. But then when you come home and you're completely drunk, completely high, it's, you know, it's get out of the house. But then when you do leave the house, they're afraid you're going to kill yourself.
Right.
Or afraid you're going to just get worse.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So their fear is and their issues is exactly why this program is set up, to leave families completely out of this for at least a year. And go ahead, TJ.
Well, I think, like, with the whole thing, people are just looking for an easy way out or an easy way to just change or fix your problems.
Mm-hmm.
But just looking at the truth of it, there's no easy way to do it. You just have to take the tough route and face the truth.
Yeah, and a lot of times what's connected to easy is mom or dad, and we all know that. We all know that, and we can all work it. We can get so far again, like people can get into their recovery. I've seen it a million times. They get into their recovery, they're doing well, and you put those people back in their life that they're not ready to have in their life, and all of a sudden they're grasping for easy. They're grasping for comfort through other people. They're grasping for the wife or the mom or the dad or the grandmother to help make me feel better. Help me feel good right now. And that is the absolute worst thing for us. I don't know if anybody wants to talk about that anymore, but it's just so detrimental to our growth is that we develop a responsibility to grow on our own through tough times without everybody picking us up and dusting us off and saying, it's going to be okay, we're going to get through this, and I'm going to do it for you. Like, we can't make this, it's a big thing for me, is we can't make this easy. Like, it just can't, we can't do it, you know, and that's why the program is like it is. Now, my whole part in that, my so-called shtick, my whole I told the guys this morning, my diabolical scheme, because I know these guys are like, what's this dude up to all the time? Like, what is he doing, and why is he in my face, and why is he creating situations for me to have difficulty? And the whole part for me, my whole deal is to push you so far out of your comfort zone, right? To push you so far past than you've ever been pushed. Because nobody's ever, when we were doing what we were doing, nobody was allowed to push me past where I wanted to be. Like nobody was able to push me out off of my square. You know, we talked about it, that comfy chair. You know, you couldn't get me out of my comfort zone. And my goal for everybody is to equip you with the tools to handle when you're out in real life. Because real life, that's why we try to be as real life as possible. Real life will smash you in the balls so fast that you are going to feel crippled at times, and you don't know how to deal with things. And that's what I see most with guys, is that when they're here and they deal with something difficult, I mean, honestly, guys, talk about it. Our first answer is to be like, hey, some of our answers is, hey, somebody else do this for me, or hey, like, this is hard. Like, this is too tough. Like, I don't want to do this. And my whole shtick is to do that to you, is to get you to deal with what's really, really, really difficult and hard. And man, sometimes it's viewed as hated. Like sometimes it's tough to hear. Anybody want to talk about that? Like it's a tough spot.
I mean, my first answer to something that's difficult is to not even face it, is to ignore it and to run from it. But what that action and that behavior creates is it perpetuates the lack of self-confidence that I have in myself. And then it creates the guilt and the shame, and it makes me go deeper in a hole.
Yeah.
And that was the cycle of my life.
Right.
I ran from anything that became difficult. I pretty much drowned it in a bottle so I didn't have to think and deal with it. But then it was there in the morning again.
It was comfortable though.
Yeah.
Like you were striving to feel numb and to be comfortable and to feel better. Like everybody just gets so caught up in how they feel.
Comfortable with wrong.
Right.
Like I heard you say earlier, comfortable. I wasn't comfortable with wrong, but I didn't know how to get out of it.
I think we'd have to talk about that, because if you weren't comfortable with wrong, you wouldn't have kept doing it over and over and over
It
again.
perpetuated the guilt and the shame.
Sure.
So I had to drown out.
Or
the
BS
guilt
yourself.
and shame
or use delusion.
Of choosing to live in the conflict of wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I said, you know, I can't look at it any other way for me, and we talked about this, is that I enjoyed the pain I was causing people at times, because I wanted everybody else to feel the same pain that I was feeling, but yet I was creating it all. And that might sound really crazy, but when you do something over and over and over again, like, you have to enjoy it at some level, and you have to be okay with it at some level, or you would stop doing it completely, because you can tell yourself something else. And that's what I think you're talking about. You could tell yourself that if I'm doing the laundry and if I'm doing this, it's okay. That's the part where I'm talking about. You got okay with it.
I enjoyed the pain I caused for myself, because that gave me the excuse to stay high and stay stuck in where I was at. I'm not so sure if I enjoyed the pain I caused others.
Did you know that you were causing pain to others?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then what other answer is there? You could just bullshit yourself enough that you weren't. That's the only thing that our level of delusion is saying, okay, well, it's not that bad. It's not that we can lie to ourselves and to recognize that, dude, I minimized everybody else's pain and I maximized all of mine all the time.
And if I took care of some little responsibilities.
Yep.
Like doing the wash, cooking, picking him up from school, or getting him off the bus stop, or you know, cleaning the house, then I was okay.
That's right.
Maintaining my job.
That's it.
I was okay. And that would allow me to stay stuck.
Right.
Because I was pretending and lying to myself.
That's it. So we use that delusion to pretend like we're not, that we don't want to do this. But in fact, misery loves miserable company. And that was the definition of me. Like, I said that I loved these people and I cared, but my actions were that I had to be okay with hurting them if I was going to continue to do it over and over again.
Your actions are the complete opposite of what you're telling yourself.
Yeah. Go ahead, TJ.
Well, it's like on that topic too. I feel like when you're that deep into darkness, you put yourself in like this feedback loop from hell. It's you have all this pain and guilt and shame and whatever it may be, excuses, and then you cause more pain and guilt and shame to back up your those negative emotions, and
Right.
it just spins around in a loop and in a loop.
Yep. And then you get where you talk about where Jeff said is, and then the guilt consumes you, that you have to completely numb yourself because of the guilt. Like my drinking and drugging and using started, at a certain point at 5, 6 o'clock at night, and then it went to noon at lunchtime, and then it started when I got up and going to work and driving to work and doing what I'm doing in my car, because of that feeling of what I created, that whirlwind that I created. And I knew the truth. But I didn't want to do anything about it. So that tells me I have to be okay with it. Go ahead, Pat.
Speaking of that delusion, like before I even got here, I was at my grandmother's house having dinner one evening, and my uncle had just gotten through prostate cancer, and like he was just starting to get his hair back and things like that, and he was telling me all this stuff, and I was so stuck in myself to where like all poor's me and the victim role and everything else, like my breakup, me losing my kids and everything else was so much worse than somebody that just had got through cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just being stuck in
Completely self-centered.
Yeah.
That's what drives all this. So that's again where what my role is and what we do here is to push people far beyond self, because that's the goal. In the end, you go through these. Our program's a minimum of 24 months. You're here over 2 years, and you go through these phases. Jeff and I have talked about this. The other guys have talked about this, like where you are in the beginning. You just work, learning a work ethic. You get here and it's a big deal to complete, 8-hour days. And Jake wanted a trophy one month because he made it 3 weeks of working, and you go
Vacation.
You start to develop a work ethic from the farm and the construction and getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you deal with that part of you and doing the little things that have structure and discipline in the little ways, So you go through that phase of your life. Go ahead, Joe.
God, it's really loud.
Mm-hmm.
You got me thinking, like what we go through day to day and like with work and at the job and teaching us to be leaders.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I know, like I'm recognizing is that I think that you like force us to communicate. You force us to like rely on each other, and I think that goes a long way, more than just the job. It goes into like internal type stuff where you gotta realize. I realize I can't do many things just on my own.
Yeah, I can't do anything.
I'm not strong
on my own.
enough, but like you get us to this point where you communicate with each other about everything. And it's just you're not alone, and you could do any task you put in front of us as long as you say, "Hey, man, I need some help."
We do it as a team.
And you do it as a team.
Yeah.
You use the people around you.
Yeah, and that's part of the phase. You know what I mean? That's part of the phase. It goes work ethic, team building, and that's to develop relationships, because I want everybody in here to have a healthy marriage, relationship, family, all that stuff. But the truth is, in the beginning, you have no idea how to have a relationship. I love the guys that come here and say, "I'm just so in love with her." I'm like, get out of here, dude. Like, you are in love with nobody but yourself. You have if you say you love them and this is how you treat them. Imagine if you didn't like them, what you do them. They'd be, you cut their throat, do all kinds of things, because we destroy everybody in our path, everyone. So it's like we have to learn all these things. We got to learn discipline, structure, work ethic in the beginning of this. And then we build off of that. And then you start taking on responsibilities and seeing how you handle stressful situations and what you actually think is stressful. You think a lot of guys come in and, they get home at 5 o'clock and they're like, okay, I'm ready to go lay down and watch TV. And you're like, what? Like, I don't get to do that in real life. So you get stressed with that. Everybody goes through that thing. Like, well, I want more time to play. And this is after we've just played for 10 years straight of not having a job and doing whatever we wanted with somebody else's money or somebody else's resources. So we're really trying to teach people how to be men, and deal with real life situations through construction and through farming. And, that's just the role I play. That's just the role that fits for what I do and pushing these guys way, 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 way beyond their comfort zone. And the problem is, and a lot of people a lot of parents, a lot of family members really get pissed at me. And I didn't address this morning, but a lot of y'all really want to impose your will and tell me what you think and tell me. And I mean, it's over half, so this isn't singling out anybody, but everybody wants, it's really, really interesting. Families have had you guys in their lives for years the way you are. And as soon as things start to get a little bit physically better, just like the person here, they're like, well, I want to do it this way. I think this is how it should be done. And all of a sudden, you become an expert in recovery, but the truth is you have no freaking clue on how to do this. If you had a clue, a little clue, you would have done it, right? Your love and your affection and you're buying them things and doing for them, you had no idea how to handle somebody in early recovery. And until you work on you, that relationship is going to be tough. So it's a tough situation. I want everybody to understand. I think the guys, my end goal is for everybody to always have their relationships back as long as they're healthy ones. But if you don't recognize the fact that when you get here, every relationship you have is toxic, you're insane. Like you have manipulated and cheated and tried to get somebody to handle your business, and it's toxic. And the person on the other side is probably just as sick as you. They might not want to admit it. And sometimes, I'll be straight with everybody, sometimes the parents are even more sick because they think they have the answer, but yet they've been living with the dude for their husband for 10 years and he was dying and overdosing. So it's like this, it's like, again, I play the same role with y'all outside the program as in here, as I push you to say, yo, like, you did it your way, and look what happened. If you don't change, like, you better create families. You all better create some real boundaries out there to have a lasting relationship with your guy here. Like, you better do some internal work on you, on what it's done, how it's affected you. I got a letter from one of the guys' moms here that was the greatest letter I've ever seen in my life. So good that we read it. And it was just this powerful letter of, the bottom line to me, it was my recovery began when I dropped him off. Like, I had no idea of the work I had to do. And that's the deal. So I'm trying to push everybody off their comfort zone and get them to see the truth and talk about the truth and see the things that they don't want to see. That's who I am. That's what I do. And a lot of people don't like it. The truth is, the majority here don't like it while it's going on. Like, well, do you like it when I'm digging? And do you love it, or is it something you enjoy? Or
no.
But do you think it has purposeful pain?
Yeah, like,
okay,
for sure. Like, after a few days or a few weeks or something, like a couple months later, like when I think back to it, I'll be like, wow.
I hate that son of a bitch, but I love him too. Is that what you say to yourself? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I tell everybody that's new here, you're going to hate me a lot of the time. But I hope you know that how much I love and care about you, because I think what a lot of people forget is the fact that everybody called Soul in Sick Recovery. You made that call to come here, and in that is saying, I don't know how to do this. Please help me, right? But what we forget is that this is all like a family ailment. This isn't just here. Like, this is the entire family unit that all needs to get help. So, it's important that everybody knows what my role is here, and what we do. If you've never listened to this show, and the mindset piece of it is nothing like. We are not a treatment center. We are not a rehab. Not even close. We are somebody's getting yelled at in the mall out there. Settle down. We are Joe had to stand up on the chair there. We are literally we are a life school. We are a trade and vocational school. And these guys are learning a lot, but what I hope they're getting is this self-reflection of that when things get difficult, why do I give up? When things get difficult, why do I search for comfort? When things get difficult, why do I want to take a step back? And that's what we all talked about this morning, and I thought everybody did an awesome job. And I hope if you're struggling with addiction, that you're in it right now, that first of all, you do whatever you can. You get to a detox if you need, or you call me and I'll tell you how to where to go and where to get some help in that arena. But once you get outside of there, I want everybody to recognize that you have to get yourself out of this treatment model medical field of recovery, in my opinion. And that's I'm very good at giving my opinion. The medical treatment center world is miserably failing. The percentage of success is incredibly low. We're all here to discuss that. If you want some people that have been through it, I've been through it multiple times, most of us. And it's a big business that's highly profitable and is failing the heartbeats that go in and out of those places miserably. And I'm going to talk about that stuff freely, and anybody that wants to challenge me on that is welcome to. I'm not vested in being right. I'm always vested in giving you all my point of view. And we are not a rehab. Rehabs suck, in my opinion. 95% of them, in my opinion, suck, because that's about the success rate. It's about 5% successful, if that. So I think we need to start looking at recovery from addiction from a whole new lens, through an entirely new lens, not from a substance and medical point of view, not from a here, take this pill to get through this, take this pill so you can go to sleep, take this Seroquel so you can calm down, take this Trazodone so you can get a good night's sleep while you're in rehab, take this methadone, Suboxone to get you through. I think that's failing miserably. I think it's disgusting that we think that with a pill we can change a problem that is way more deep-seated than what you're seeing. Everybody wants to focus on the substance in our country because that's where the money is. If it's a substance problem, they think they can fix it with another substance, and they're just dead wrong from what I've seen, from what I've experienced. It's behavioral. It ain't about your feelings. You all know what I say about feelings. What do I say, Joe? Yeah. Whoa. You were supposed to say F, not say the
Feelings aren't facts.
Feelings aren't facts, so you can't trust them. But what I can tell you is factual is your behavior and how you treat others and how you treat stress. You can talk all the crap you want in that therapist chair and tell her everything that she wants to hear, and you can make her be like, man, this guy gets it. You know, you're really good. You might only have to come for 370 sessions, and then I make my money and you move, but you got it. Let's get you talking more. We can talk the talk, but we struggle completely to walk the walk, you know. And that's the model that I feel is failing, and I think we have to all there's nothing out there that tells me that you think it's getting any better. You know, through COVID, addiction rate went skyrocketed, suicide skyrocketed. We are screwing up with the lost people in our country. If you look at how many people are in county and state prison and federal prison, like, we have the highest prison rate in the world, on earth. So all these things tell me that we are trying to use a certain model that sucks. And I'm here to talk about that. I'm here to push the envelope on everybody that's here, and most importantly, myself. I'm pushing the envelope on myself every day. I want to be the best leader I can be. I want to be pushed. I want to be, challenged. And I hope all these guys reach the point where they want to be challenged in a certain way that they can still enjoy, but most importantly, get out of your comfort zone. Nobody grows. Nobody gets better in your comfort zone. These places that you go to that are on the beach and you have a private chef and you get a massage every day, get the F out of here. Like, we got to push people outside of their comfort zone and what they are used to, because what we were practicing didn't work. And I hope everybody understands that it ain't about the drugs. It's about easy. It's about numb. It's about feeling better instantly. Anybody have anything? Anybody have anything they want to say that didn't speak? Jeff, you got nothing. Oh, go ahead, Chance.
Yeah. So before I came into this program, I was getting high. I was actually pretty high when I started giving.
How long you been here, Chance?
2 weeks in a day.
Okay.
2 weeks in a day. And
Give it up for Chance getting here 2 weeks in a day. He hates me. He hated me the first hour, Bob. It was pretty awesome. But go ahead.
I mean, I remember talking with Jeff on the phone, you know, just high out of my mind. I couldn't even finish sentences, you know.
Mm-hmm. What does that have to do with anything?
Just from where I was and
Mhm.
where I'm, you know, where I am now,
Mhm.
you know, I've come a long way. And I still have a long way to go, you know.
Yeah.
That's something that's not going to happen in like 30, 60 days, you know.
No. No.
I'm really thankful to be here, you know. I know 2 years is a long time. My mom was freaking out when she
Yeah.
found out it was 2 years, but
Yeah.
I was actually excited. She's like, "Oh no, you know, that's just too long. That's just too long." I was like, "You know what? It's gonna be all right,
Yeah.
Mom. You know, this is something we both need." So
So there's a perfect example. Like people just don't understand what it takes to change, because it's not just quitting that we need to do. Like, it's not just about stopping the use. Like, how many of us in here, raise your hand, you'll see everybody raise your hand if you've quit for a week before or 3 days. Okay, that's most of everybody in here, right? We were able to quit. We just weren't able to stay stopped. We
quit
didn't
countless
change.
of times.
Oh yeah,
But I
Yeah.
never practiced any behaviors that would allow me to sustain it. The
Yep.
only thing that I actually, when I quit, would change is physical appearance.
Mhm. The outside.
exterior.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I lost, 10, 15 pounds and I was running again, I'm back to okay. I'm
Yeah.
physically feeling good.
I'm good.
So now that's where the trick comes in, that your mind plays tricks on you and you're right back to where you started.
Well, and that's the thing with people that have a son here or in another long-term program, is that like, I think everybody should get to talk to a parent that's lost their child, that lost to addiction, that overdosed and died, because that's happening, like, I don't know, 6,000 times a month. Go talk to those people. And if they could, if you look at the journey of people that go through addiction issues, it usually starts about 15, 16, right? Some are late bloomers, but they do it for 5, 10 years goes by, boom, right? But yet, a lot of times, parents are like, 2 years? And I'm thinking, dude, you just lost your son for 10 years. You're saying that they were nothing but like wanting to die and all this hell we've been through for years. Everybody's good at talking about the hell you were through for years and what they did and what we lost and what was stolen from me. And I was so scared and I was so this, and it was year after year after year after year. But that you're like, it takes that long to fix? Like, it takes that long to change? It takes that long it takes what it takes. And unfortunately, you don't have a clue on what it takes. So like families trusting the process and trusting the fact that it can't be about them or what they want is really, really big. And the other part you might want to look at is like, maybe that you played a part in it. I'm not saying that it's any of your fault. It might be your fault. It might not. But you damn well played a part in it if it's your son. It's your child. If it's your daughter, like, you got to stop pointing the finger at Big Pharma and OxyContin and the pills, because that's what families are really good at doing. They want to go after all these families. It cracks me up, these documentaries, like, we want to sue the Big Pharma. Well, who were you suing when they started smoking weed at 13 in your house and drinking your alcohol? Like, what about that? What about the issues that they had with learning to grow up and be an adult? Like, what do you want to sue them for? Like, how about these guys taking responsibility for what they did? Like, everybody wants to sue somebody else and blame anybody else. But where this is all gonna to get better is when we all recognize that this shit starts in the home. This shit starts with ourselves and the mirror and in the home, and we got to fix that stuff, and we got to put some attention into it, and. Is that everybody? Is that every parent? No, but the majority it is. Like, you're gonna have to look at a different way, and just like I tell everybody here, like, if it's your way, it ain't gonna work, and trust the process. And it's a long process. It's a hard process too. So yeah, that's my shtick today. Anybody else have anything that they want to jump in on or anything, or are we good on that one? I think the next thing we're gonna do. Okay, if y'all have any questions about anything that I said, anything at all, please comment in here. Send me a message. Yell at me. I have broad shoulders. I'm good. Just say whatever you have to say so that we can have a conflict and grow through it, and maybe we can both learn something. So send me any questions you have. Don't be afraid to send me whatever you have, and let's talk about it. That's what I'm hoping through this. Really, our podcasts aren't. We're not a typical podcasting business. All these new people, they want to be podcasters and think they're going to make money off of YouTube and everything else. That's not why we're out here doing this. We're out here doing this completely to raise awareness about what's going on in our community, what we're doing to offer hope and to offer a different way of looking at it and look at it through a completely different lens than what everybody else is doing. So I hope everybody keeps that in mind. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment box. But what are you doing? We got TJ up next. He's going to give a Sick Recovery Racing update. Joe, Jeff, you want to give him that mic? Because I'm sure Joe is going to have to say something about it. Joe has been the co-trainer, and he's gonna give us an update as well. Go ahead, TJ. Where are we at? Where are we at with Sick Recovery Racing right now, man?
Right now, we're just trying to prepare for the season, do some planning, figure out what bikes we're going to get, getting trailers going, kind of just preparing for the races to come.
Okay. Look at Joe. He just cannot help himself. He has to jump up in there and grab mine. So what bikes are we going to be on this season? Uh-oh. Push your little. There you go.
Hello?
Yeah, there you are. Joe's fault.
So we chose Husky.
We're going with Husky. We're going with Husky. Everybody, give it up for Husky. Yeah, we're ready to go with Husky. It took us a while to come to that decision, but that's what we're doing because Jake said he's Husky certified and he can take apart and put one back together in under 27 minutes. Full top end. Husky tools and Husky bikes. That's what we're doing.
You can buy them at Home Depot.
Yeah, we can get them all at Home Depot these days. What do you think, JP, of that decision? You like the Husky? Okay, I'm glad. We got JP's approval. That's important to me. So you want to tell everybody what we've raised to date?
I think now we're at $30,000.
Yes, we raised $30,000, right? A big chunk of that was from our girl Ingrid and Susie out west, and we were so pumped. We still have a big nut to go after to get us through the season, and I hope everybody out there will share this, spread the word, and actually we need salespeople out there for Sick Recovery Racing, y'all. We need y'all to go out there and find businesses and find places that want to be represented at the motocross track, because we're going to do a heck of a job of representing our sponsors at the track. We're going to have fun, but most important, we are going to be professional. We're going to be respectful, and we're going to go after it out there and raise awareness about what's going on in our sport and what's going on with us. I just said waiting for the paperwork from TJ for sponsorship.
Hey,
you have a lady.
I was just going to say, that's going to be my job at the track. I'm going to promote who we are, what we're doing, who's helping us out, who's supporting. I'm going to be doing raffles, giveaways, popcorn, slushies, everybody.
Who
Let's
put him
go.
on the team? Since when's he on the team, guys? Did you put him on the team, TJ?
We did.
All right, let's give it up for Joe. He's on the team. I love it. Joe is. What's Joe's new name? Abednego or?
Abednego.
Okay.
We already have an idea. We're gonna have Marshall. He's gonna create a T-shirt cannon.
Okay.
And Joe will
We
walk
could
around
buy
the
one of
pits,
them. We could buy
shooting
one.
off-
They're
shooting
not
off
that
T-shirts.
expensive. Remember, I was going to buy one of them back for Motorama to do that. Yeah, you can get one for like $300 and explode them right in people's faces and stuff. All of us will be walking around with broken noses. I guarantee it. It'll be done in the house. Joe will be shooting them across house to house. Yeah, I like the T-shirt cannon thing, Joe.
No, I'm serious. I really want to bring a lot of excitement to the events and to the tracks.
Okay.
Really show who we are and what we are doing.
Well,
because I think the goal, it's the outreach. Racing's fun. It's cool. It's awesome. But it's the outreach to get people in racing who need help to get help.
To get help and to raise awareness of what's going on. So the other part of what we do, okay, so when Sick Recovery Racing started, we went there with Nico and Coop and Austin and these guys that have a presence in motocross and said, okay, like we want to be here to talk about just straight addiction in motocross, right? Like that was our shtick. Like I went to the track, and Kevin Kozad would let me speak at times after his service or MXers for Jesus and be like, okay, y'all need to watch out what you're doing with your kid. If he's 14 and you want him to finish a moto, don't give him a pain pill. Like I talked about the pain pill avenue, and I talked about watching what you're doing, and there's a lot of weed being smoked at the track, and there's a lot of things going on that isn't necessarily the bad thing. The weed and the pills aren't bad. Do they work with the type of person, the type of kid you have, and what's going on in your family, and are you able to teach them how to deal with things instead of running to numb? So that was kind of the shtick in the beginning, but we're adding a piece to it now. You know, it's not just about the addiction and the pain pill to heroin story that we told so well. It's really motocross has a big problem. Okay,
Yeah.
Motocross has this issue where parents put their all into becoming Tomac, Roxon, the next Ricky Carmichael, right? And they teach them no skill from 4 to 18 except twist that throttle. You do everything right on the bike. You get everything you want. And next week we go train all week and we go to the next track. And we train all week and we go to the next track. And let me sell everything I have and put it into you and your success. And that causes a pressure, but it doesn't teach anything. And our sport is inundated with kids that don't have any skills. And they get to the real world like what happened with you, Jesse, right? You just talked about it the other night where you just still struggle. You still struggle with this belief in yourself because what you spent most of your life doing was ride motorcycles. And you didn't really have to do a whole lot but ride a motorcycle, you know, and you didn't get the opportunity to learn different things that maybe you should have. That's what else I want to start speaking about, Joe, when you're out there and you and TJ are out there speaking about what we do is that construction trades piece, our school of teaching a trade is like something that motocross, we need to get into the sport of motocross and say, yo, here's a trade you need to learn. Here's what you need to start. You need to start learning a skill because these guys get to be 18, 19, 20, 21, and they're like hanging on to pretend that they're a pro motocrosser. They're like they're following the pro motocross circuit, finishing 39th every single week and spending every bit of money to delay life, to delay the truth, to delay the fact that they don't know how to do anything else but ride a motorcycle. Jesse, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, you're just spot on with that. Like, you know, I raced motocross for 15, 16 years, you know, and throughout that time, that's all I focused on. You know, that's all I did 3-4 times a week. You know, I did online school so I could race more.
Yep.
So I missed that whole part of life, you know. Throughout that time, yeah, I was great on a motorcycle. You know, I believe God has blessed me with skills with that.
Yep.
But throughout that time, I didn't learn any other life skills.
Right.
So when I stopped racing, you know, I had no belief in myself when it comes to, you know, just work and living life. And it's something I still struggle with.
Yeah.
You know, just the self-doubt because throughout all that time, my one talent is riding a dirt bike. And now I have to relearn everything else. And
to make a living at that is the 1%, right? To make a real living at that is a small, super small percentage. But yet, I love the fact, here's the deal. I'm not taking away from the fact that people have a great family life and you get to spend a lot of time with your family. That piece is beautiful, but that can't be the only piece. It can't be the only piece that you're chasing your dream. I love that. Don't get me wrong. I love that people don't give up on their goal and their dream and that life is short and to go after it. Great. If you can do that and figure it out, great. But you can't put all your eggs in one basket. It can't all be in the motocross basket. And that's what else I want you guys to bring and I want to talk about when we get to speak and when we get to talk about the majority. Like I'm telling you, I think it's a large majority. You guys tell me of kids that are just so engulfed in racing that they learn nothing else and then they're completely lost.
Well, yeah, I feel like it's just easy to get it all twisted and backwards. You know, with motocross, it gets into your bloodstream and it's like nothing else. So it's easy to just hyper focus on that and block everything else out.
Yeah.
And just chase that dream. And I think you talked about it before when you were, you know, working with and training Justin Cooper. Like even he was you know, exploring different avenues of life and like doing school and everything like
College.
that to prepare for like
Yep.
if motocross didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that.
There's never a plan B, it seems, with the majority of people. There's no plan B on, well, what are we going to do to teach our son how to live with life? I see a lot of people not teaching their kids how to lose, how to just adjust to the stressful part of life. And I just see a lot of guys when they get to 18 to 21, when it's over, because the truth is when you get to 19, 20, it's over from a career standpoint. It's like you can struggle your life away if you want to. And I think it's cool that if you find support and you can do that for a time, but, you get to be 19, 20 years old, you better start going to school and make your money on the races. And I think you can develop a plan to be a businessman in racing and go to money races and make a living, like to pay your bills, but you're not supporting a family. That is those days are long over.
Just a glimpse of like what's going on here with Soul Constructors. Like Jesse, I'm sorry I'm going to use you, but like, dude, when you got here, you didn't know how to swing a hammer. Remember we were building those storage pods. And
he was like this. He was like,
right, like, and I'm not saying that to talk trash.
No, I'm
but
just
like,
kidding. He
you
was.
came here, you didn't know a lick of any tools or power tools, dude. Today, you're like,
Dale, no power tools.
Today, you're finishing. You're plumbing in a grocery store that's being built. Like, dude, it's huge.
Yeah.
The turnaround, like of what's going on.
Yeah.
We're learning.
And I think we need to bring that piece to motocross as well, and be the people that talk about the tough topics. That's what I love to be, man. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I love. Jake, did you ever notice that I love to talk about the topics that nobody else wants to? No? Good. Thank you. Yeah, and I think it's really important. Like.
Yeah, and I think there's just so much to touch on. Like, there's so many different things we can talk about.
Yeah.
And I think with, the group of guys we have here, the experience we have in the sport and everything, our plan is just to bring it all out into the open and do the best we can to, set an example and show that there's a different way and there's a better way to do things, and you don't have to be so engulfed like in motocross, like you said.
There you go. And your transparency and your vulnerability at the track is what's going to get us more sponsors, I hope. Because it's easy to be the people that are out there that are sponsoring, the guys that are winning every week. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that we're going to win our handful of races and things like that. But I hope people step up to help Sick Recovery Racing get to as many races as we want to because of what we represent, because of who we are striving to be and what we're sharing. And I really want to. I hope we can find some teammates. I'd love to find a teammate that'll just come alongside and say, "Let's do this the right way," and get you to your goal of what do you got? You got another like $70,000 to raise, and we're committed to getting a bike and getting going right now. We're gonna get moving, and Jesse and TJ and Joe are working out and changing their diet and working hard, and I'm proud of y'all. But I can't wait for you guys to get to your first race to show what we can do, to set up our rig and what we're doing, and I just hope that we get the help we need and that we want to bless everybody at the track with our information and our exposure of what's really going on. We send a great message, so pass this. Anybody that's listening to this, pass that along. Get out there and be salespeople with us if you believe in what we do. If you don't, well, then don't do it. I don't care. God's going to put us in the right path, and as long as he's in it, he's going to fund it, and he's going to help us. Right, Gary? All right. So we are – anything else you want to talk about, TJ?
Oh, yeah, just kind of what you touched on. Just thank you to anybody who's supporting it, and we look forward to, doing our best this season and reaching people and saving lives, and
that's it.
It'll be a good time.
So I'm hoping that TJ, by the way – TJ doesn't know this, but we have so many motocross contacts that we're gonna add a Sick Recovery Racing podcast, hopefully regularly, and get riders on here. And I would like these guys to actually, TJ, Jake, Jesse and Joe to run that podcast where we have mics set up and I'm here, but you guys completely run that, and we get riders on here and we talk about success and we talk about building teams and we get team owners on here. How do we do this and tell our story and just raise awareness on the microphone on Facebook and YouTube and get to that soon. Like, I think that's an avenue you guys need to try to start doing weekly, where we have our own Sick Recovery Racing podcast that we talk to guys like Coop. You know, we had Shane McElrath set up to come on, and we get guys back on, Hanson back on, Ryan back on here, and we talk about what we're doing and just get some momentum. You know, so you're gonna head that up, TJ, and start talking. I know Joe's gonna try to run you over because look at him, he just stood up.
Yeah.
He can't wait to talk. He literally jumped up at the microphone, but we need to figure out a time for that and make it a regular thing and have a boatload of fun. Joe, I know you're dying to talk. I'm going to continue talking just because Joe went to the mic like this like 6 times. He's like, is he going to?
Excited, dude. I want to get this energy going.
I love him. I love this. All right, so we're going to head out of here. Again, if you all have anything you need to talk about, if you know anybody that needs help and that they need somebody to talk to, we are your guys. Like, you know a guy, right, Clint? We know a guy. And that guy is us. Reach out to us, Instagram, Facebook. What song are you getting us out of here with, Bob? And we will respond to you. Come on the show if you need to. Anybody has a topic that they want to come on this show, we'll Zoom you in here. We're going to start doing more of that. But I will see you next week. We love y'all. Get over to the living room.
Back on deck on my fly back. Really on my pay some respect to my mindset. Head blowing smoke, catch a contact. Really mad they can't stop us. Back on the scene, young conscious. Always been me, I'm poppin'. I ain't really here for the gossip, nah. Blah, 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 yum. Try to play me, but you tried it. Way too wavy, gotta ride it. Pull up on you, yeah, we sliding. Make our eyes roll when I slide in. Neck on wrist on shaman. Tell them say less, no comment. And we only here for the commas.
Ay, pull up and how about we sliding? Loaded away from beside me. Beeline, skating on days we gliding. I'm hitting that in the driving.
Hitting that while we vibing. You know I be on that time and light up, I'm firing. Dress it up, yeah, I be styling. Eat up the drip, she be dining. Straight to the top, she be climbing.